Hey everyone, welcome to Miyanki, your home for mastering money and transforming your mindset. And here we dive deep into personal finance strategies, budget hacks, investing basics, and the powerful mindset shifts that turn today's choices into tomorrow's freedom. Whether you're trying to break free from debt, build savings, or reprogram your thoughts for abundance, you've come to the right place. We combine proven financial principles with mindset work inspired by thought leaders like Napoleon Hill, so you not only learn what to do, but how to think like a winner. New videos drop every day covering everything from how to crush your debt to daily habits of financially confident people. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Ignoring a budget is like setting sail without a compass, comfortable at first, until you find yourself adrift in stormy seas, with no idea how you got there or how to find land again. In your 20s, when income is often unpredictable, debts can quickly mount, and financial literacy is seldom taught in school. Failing to establish even a basic budget is one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make. Let's unpack why flying blind with your finances leads to crisis, how it erodes your confidence, and how you can begin to chart a course towards security, freedom, and long-term wealth. Why budgets matter, from vision to control. A budget is not a prison. It is the blueprint for the life you want to build. Without it, every dollar you earn drifts away, carried off by hidden fees, impulse purchases, or vague miscellaneous spending. Here's why ignoring a budget sets you on the path to a financial crisis. You lose track of your priorities. When money flows freely, you start spending on whatever catches your eye in the moment. Today it's avocado toast. Tomorrow it's premium streaming services. Next week, a new pair of sneakers. Each dollar spent without intention chips away at the resources you need for rent, emergency savings, or investing in your future. Over time, the small, unplanned buys accumulate into a mountain of missed opportunity. You invite unexpected shortfalls. Life doesn't ask permission before delivering its challenges: car repairs, medical bills, or a sudden move for a new job. If you haven't budgeted, you have no buffer. Rather than drawing on savings, you end up swiping your credit card and paying high interest. That snowballs into more debt, more stress, and an ever-tightening trap. You erase the joy of spending. Believe it or not, having a plan actually makes spending more enjoyable. When you know each purchase has its place, you can buy guilt-free. Without a budget, every purchase stings. Every convenience costs you peace of mind, and you begin associating money with anxiety rather than empowerment. You sabotage your long-term goals. Whether you dream of homeownership, a 6-month emergency fund, or early retirement, each goal requires disciplined savings. Without a budget to carve out a fixed portion of your income, your one day remains forever out of reach. Meanwhile, the powerful force of compounding interest quietly rewards those who save consistently and punishes those who do not. Personal story. My first brush with chaos. I'll never forget the time I thought I didn't need a budget because I always make ends meet. I was 23, working my first real job, bringing home $3,000 to $100 a month after taxes. I swore I had my life together. Rent was paid, bills cleared, and I still had money left for nights out. Then one month, I overspent on a concert trip, indulged in takeout food for convenience, and splurged on an expensive pair of headphones. When my rent check hit the bank, my balance plummeted to $75. Suddenly, $75 had to stretch 2 weeks. No grocery money, no gas, no emergency cushion. Desperate, I took out a payday loan at the 100% APR, digging my hole deeper. That moment forced me to confront a simple truth. I wasn't financially free. I was lucky. Each month I didn't run out of cash before luck ran out, panic set in, and a single week of unplanned spending threatened my entire month. Had I maintained a basic budget allocating fixed amounts for rent, bills, fun, and savings, I would never have found myself scrambling to survive. Building your first budget, step by step. If you've never budgeted before, the process can feel foreign. Here's a detailed, human-to-human guide to get you started immediately. Gather your data. Sit down with your last 2 months of bank and credit card statements. Print them or export them into a spreadsheet. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Highlight every expense, large and small. Categorize every expense. Break spending into 5 to 10 broad categories: housing, utilities, transportation, food, groceries, dining out, subscriptions, debt payments, savings, entertainment, and miscellaneous. As you categorize, you'll see patterns you never noticed, like that $20 Uber ride 2 nights a week or the $14 smoothie habit. Calculate your monthly income. Carefully determine the exact amount of money you receive each month. If your income varies, for example, tips, freelance gigs, calculate your total during the past 3 months to determine your average. Utilize the lowest month as your basis. It's better to understate and over-deliver a bit. Set spending limits. For each category, assign a realistic monthly limit based on your tracked spending and your primary priorities. Essential expenses, such as rent and utilities, should be allocated a primary place. They should not be negotiated. Next, contribute a minimum of 10 to 20% of your income towards savings and debt repayment. The remaining amount can be divided into your flexible monies, entertaining expenses, dining out, and such, which you can adjust and modify as needed. Implement zero-based budgeting. In zero-based budgeting, every single dollar has a distinct purpose. Your income must equal your expenses, including all savings plus zero. This method helps you reassess your spending, direct more towards your priorities, and avoid the trap of having leftover funds. Set up automated transfers for savings, bill payments, and any outstanding debt to streamline and automate the process. Use budgeting apps like You Need a Budget ENAB, EveryDollar, or simply create a simple Google Sheets-based budget. Automation reduces the time spent on manual entry, helping you stay on track when life gets hectic. Check and adjust weekly. A budget isn't a stagnant document, it's an ever-evolving plan. Set aside 15 minutes each Sunday to review your spending, identify any overspending, and adjust your limits for the upcoming week accordingly. This consistent review prevents unexpected surprises and builds your financial resolve. Remember to adopt a mindset of from restriction to empowerment. Napoleon Hill once posited, "A budget is an oath you make to your future self." Transform your relationship with budgeting by reframing your mindset. Reframe the thoughts that arise. A budget will restrict my freedoms. Replace it with, a budget will guarantee me financial freedom from worrying. I don't need a budget. I know precisely what I'm spending. Instead of, I want to create a budget someday in the future. Begin today, because every single day holds value. By embracing your budget, you demonstrate a sense of control by letting your subconscious know you're in charge. This confidence permeates every single financial decision, whether you're negotiating a pay raise, deciding whether to invest, or simply declining an impulse purchase. Long-term benefits: the path to financial freedom. Reduced stress and anxiety. Accountability with your funds eliminates the gut-wrenching fear of overdraft fees or missed rent payments. Each paycheck becomes a tool, not a gamble. Peace of mind. With clear categories and dedicated debt repayment buckets, you begin to see progress on your balances, making it easier to avoid stress and anxiety over outstanding debts. Accelerated debt payoff. With clear categories and budgeted debt repayment buckets, you start to see progress on your balances, breaking down the overwhelming feeling of outstanding debts. Each payment chips away at interest, saving you thousands over time. Consistent savings growth. Automated contributions to savings and investments harnesses the power of compounding, enabling you to build a nest egg over time. Even if you start small, $50 a week over years, that grows into a substantial nest egg. Ability to seize opportunities. Clear categories provide the freedom to choose between investments and expenses, giving you the confidence to seize opportunities, whether it's a chance to buy a rental property or invest in a promising side hustle. Budgets create opportunity reserves. Building wealth with confidence. As your budget becomes second nature, you'll start tackling bigger financial goals, maxing out retirement accounts, building emergency reserves, investing in stocks or real estate with clarity, not chaos. Conclusion: your compass to a secure future. Ignoring a budget is the fastest way to trade freedom for frustration. But embrace budgeting as your financial compass. Every dollar becomes a decision, rather than an accident. You transform from a passenger on the ship of life into its captain, steering towards safety, abundance, and the dreams you truly value. Remember Napoleon Hill's words: accurate thinking is critical to success. Sorting facts from fiction begins with tracking your reality. So start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Grab your statements, set your categories, assign every dollar, and watch the empowerment grow. Money management is an essential aspect of your financial growth journey. By implementing a solid plan, you can secure your future and take advantage of opportunities that may come your way. Don't be afraid to start on this exciting journey, as it presents you with a world of financial freedom and security. Relying on credit cards is likened to signing an unseen contract with a criminal who steals your future shortly after you swipe it. During your 20s, when you're still discovering the rules of adult life, frequently underpaid, and presented with the mirage that plastic signifies effortless, stepping into this trap can leave you trapped for years or even a multiple of decades. Let's delve deeper into the reasons why credit card dependence is one of the most detrimental financial mistakes you can make today, how it secretly undermines your wealth potential, and what actions you can take today to break free from this addiction. Upon initially getting my platinum card in my early 20s, I experienced a surge of sensation. An unplanned purchase, no worrying. A last-minute dinner with friends, swipe. That newest gadget everyone was all the rage about? Certainly just apply it to a revolving credit line. In that instant, I assumed the advertisements. 0% April for the first 6 months, points on every purchase, the possibility to purchase now and settle later. However, I failed to recognize the delusion. Backstage, the interest was compounding. The standard minimum payments were constructing a mound of hidden charges, and with each swipe, I was borrowing not only from the near future, but also from the hope and confidence of my future self. Let's take a closer look at these mechanics. A credit card is essentially a short-term loan applied to every single purchase you make. If you pay off your balance at the end of the billing cycle, you don't have to pay any interest. But if you carry even just a penny into the following cycle, the clock starts ticking at rates that could soar above a staggering 20% annually. This isn't a loan, it's a volcano. Imagine owing a single $1,000 on January 1st at a whopping 24% APR. If you only make minimum payments approximately 2 to 3% of the balance, you'll end up paying more in interest than you initially borrowed. Considering that one $1,000 purchase could easily cost $2,000 or more by the moment you're free of it. Worse still is the psychological grip it exerts. Credit cards trick your mind into undervaluing the pain of daily payments. A study in behavioral economics known as hyperbolic discounting reveals this insidious approach. The more removed a pain is, the easier it feels to ignore. Whenever you tap your card, the sum you owe seems distant, weeks, months, or even years away. Your mind registers the pleasure of the purchase right away, while the unpleasantness of the bill arrives later, frequently when your account is already under enormous stress. It's an insidious cycle. You make the minimum payments, watch the balance barely budge, experience guilt, then distract yourself with another purchase to atone for the guilt. It's a slow-motion, financial self-destruction. Let me tell you about my friend Marcus, a college roommate turned startup founder. Marcus was razor sharp and driven, everything you'd expect in a 20-something going places, but he never learned restraint. His first job paid him $45,000 a year, and he spent like he was making 6 figures. Designer suits, overpriced meals, weekend trips. By age 26, his credit card debt topped $25,000. Late fees, penalty APRs, and balance transfers wiped out his razors. When he finally sat down in sheer panic to face the numbers, he realized 2 things. 1, he could have saved $100,000 by investing the same money, and 2, he had to make a brutal choice: continue swiping and sink deeper, or lock up his cards, face the shame, and start a grueling payoff plan. He chose the latter, but it took 5 years of disciplined budgeting, second jobs, and paying to become debt-free. Those years of compounding interest and missed investments were gone forever. Why do so many of us fall into this trap? 3 core reasons. Marketing mastery. Credit card companies spend billions to convince you that plastic is power. They advertise bonus points, miles toward a free vacation, cashback rewards, creating the illusion that using the card is actually a way to earn money. Few ads mention the APR or the penalty fees for late payments. Lack of awareness. Few young adults truly understand interest rates, compounding, or the cost of minimum payments. Unless you've calculated how long it would take to pay off a balance with just minimum payments, the numbers feel abstract. You see a $500 purchase as $500, not as $1,000 to $100 stretched over 2 years. Emotional spending. Credit cards feed into our emotional triggers. Bought a new outfit to celebrate a promotion, charged it. Treated yourself to take the edge off a stressful week. Charged it. Each swipe becomes a temporary emotional fix, masking deeper issues of self-worth or stress management. So how do you break free from the slippery slope of credit card debt? It starts with 3 decisive actions. First, face the truth unflinchingly. Pull up your credit card statements and list every balance, every interest rate, every fee paid in the last year. Seeing those numbers in black and white is painful, like ripping off a bandage, but it's the first step to freedom. Document the total balances and the minimum payment percentage. Then calculate how long it will take to pay off each card. If you pay only the minimum, chances are it's years. Second, create a debt elimination plan. Choose between the debt snowball method, pay off the smallest balance first for quick wins, or the debt avalanche method, tackle the highest interest rate first to save money. Allocate every spare dollar, bonuses, side hustle income, gift stored. This plan. Automate an overpayment on one card while maintaining minimums on the rest. Each paid-off card is a psychological victory that fuels momentum. Third, transform your relationship with plastic. For most people, the only way to stop reliance on credit cards is to lock them away, literally. Cut up all but one card, keep the oldest account open to preserve your credit history. Or place your cards in a frozen lockbox that you can't open without thawing it in the microwave, a low-tech but effective deterrent. Commit to a strict cash or debit-only rule for day-to-day spending. When you physically hand over dollars instead of swiping a card, you feel the real cost of every purchase. In tandem with these steps, you must rebuild your financial foundation. Emergency fund first. Save $1,000 as fast as possible, then build to 3 months' essential expenses. This fund keeps you from resorting to credit in a crisis. Budget or bust. Implement a zero-based or envelope budgeting system. When every category has a cap, credit cards become unnecessary. Credit re-education. Study how credit scores work. Understand that you can rebuild your credit by keeping balances low, paying on time, and maintaining long account histories even with little or no card usage. Psychological shifts. Replace the belief that credit equals capability with the truth that cash discipline equals freedom. When you know you can handle life's twists without debt, you step into a new level of confidence. Napoleon Hill taught that strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. The struggle of overcoming credit card dependence may feel harsh, but it's where your financial muscles are strengthened. Each month you chip away at your balances, each fee you avoid, each dollar you redirect into savings compounds into genuine wealth and unwavering peace of mind. Ultimately, freeing yourself from credit card reliance is not a one-time event, it's a transformation of identity. You will no longer see debt as an entitlement or convenience, but as a dangerous spiral you refuse to step into again. You'll learn to value delayed gratification over instant indulgence, and you'll discover the profound empowerment that comes with living well within your means. If you can master this, if you can force yourself to use credit cards only as tools for emergencies, with full repayment every cycle, then you unlock the door to everything else. The ability to invest, to save, to build real assets, and to face life's unpredictabilities without fear. You exchange the illusion of plastic promise for the solid reality of financial freedom. And that is the irrevocable path to true wealth. 3. Neglecting emergency savings, building castles on sand. In your 20s, it's tempting to focus all your energy on building the visible parts of your life, your career, lifestyle, image, and dreams. You might be chasing that sleek car, the perfect apartment, or the glamorous trips you see your peers flaunting on social media. And while you're building those things, while you're trying to erect your castle, you might completely ignore the foundation that keeps it all standing when storms hit. That foundation is your emergency savings. Without it, you're building castles on sand. One unexpected wave, job loss, illness, car repair, family emergency, and your castle collapses completely. This mistake is one of the quietest and most dangerous mistakes young people make with money. Not because it shows immediately, but because when it finally does, the damage is often devastating. And the worst part, many people don't even realize it was their own neglect that created the disaster. Let's go deep. The reality of life in your 20s, unpredictable and unstable. Your 20s are a time of massive transition. You're learning to be independent, probably working entry-level jobs that pay just enough to cover rent, transportation, food, and the occasional luxury. You're juggling student loan payments, maybe starting to think about moving out of your parents' house or building a business. Life is in motion, it's beautiful, but it's also fragile. And fragility is the precise reason you need an emergency fund. It's not if something unexpected will happen, it's when your car could break down out of nowhere. You could get laid off. Your laptop could crash when you have no warranty. You might have a medical emergency. Your rent could go up overnight. You might need to leave a toxic job or relationship suddenly. If you don't have emergency savings, all these things can wreck your life in a moment. And here's the kicker. Most financial ruin in adulthood doesn't come from overspending on luxury, it comes from not being ready for an emergency. One emergency becomes to credit cards become a loan. The loan turns into a cycle of debt. Suddenly, you're not chasing dreams anymore, you're just trying to survive. What is emergency savings really? Emergency savings isn't just a rainy day stash. It's not money you touch when there's a sale or when you want to upgrade your phone. Emergency savings is your personal insurance policy, a protective wall between you and financial collapse. It gives you something money can't always buy: peace of mind and options. 3. Neglecting emergency savings, building castles on sand. In your 20s, it's quite tempting to concentrate all your vital energy on creating the noticeable parts of your life, your career, lifestyle, image, and dreams. You might be chasing that sleek car, the perfect apartment, or the alluring trips you see your peers showcasing on social media. While you're rebuilding those things, while you're attempting to construct your castle, you might occasionally overlook the crucial foundation that keeps it all in place when storms occur. That foundation is your emergency savings. Without it, you're building castles on sand. One unforeseen wave of job loss, illness, car repair, or family crisis, and your castle crumbles completely. This common mistake is one of the quietest and most dangerous mistakes young adults make concerning money. Now, not because it appears immediately, but since when it finally does, the damage it causes is often far-reaching, and the worst part, many people don't even understand that it was their own neglect that instigated the devastation. Let's delve deeper. The reality of life in your 20s, unpredictable and unstable. Your 20s are an era of phenomenal transition. You're learning to be self-sufficient, possibly working entry-level jobs that pay just enough to cover rent, transportation, food, and sometimes a few luxuries. You're balancing student loan payments, possibly contemplating moving out of your parents' home or starting a business. Life is unpredictable, it's beautiful, but remarkably fragile. And fragility is the key reason you need an emergency fund. It's not if something unexpected will occur, it's when your car could possibly break down out of nowhere. You might encounter a sudden loss of employment. Your laptop could abruptly crash without any warranty. You might face a medical emergency. Your rent could unexpectedly go up. You might need to step away from a toxic job or relationship. If you don't have an emergency savings plan, all these things can devastate your life in just a matter of moments. And here's the bottom line. Most financial ruin in adulthood doesn't come from overspending on luxury. Rather, it comes from not being prepared for emergencies. One emergency quickly turns into several credit cards. Several credit cards grow into an overwhelming debt burden. Suddenly, you're not chasing dreams anymore, you're simply trying to stay alive. What is emergency savings really? Emergency savings isn't just a rainy day stash of money. It's not money you touch when there's a sale or when you strive to upgrade your phone. Emergency savings is your personal safety net, a protective barrier between you and financial collapse. It provides you with something money can't always guarantee: peace of mind and the opportunity to plan ahead. Having emergency savings doesn't mean life won't hit you. It just means you'll be ready when it does. The goal: start with $1,000 as quickly as possible. That's your immediate cushion for small emergencies. Then aim for 3 to 6 months worth of essential expenses: rent, food, transport, utilities. That amount keeps you afloat without needing to rely on credit or beg for help if life turns upside down. Why most people neglect emergency funds? Let's be honest, saving for something that might happen isn't sexy. Most 20-somethings would rather invest in crypto, buy clothes, or take a vacation. Emergency funds feel boring. They don't seem urgent until they are. There are 3 reasons most people skip emergency savings. Short-term thinking. We live in a now culture. If it doesn't give immediate reward, it gets ignored. Saving for an emergency doesn't feel good in the short term, but it's the long-term difference between surviving and sinking. Low income. Many young people feel they don't earn enough to save, but here's the truth, you can't afford not to. Even if you save $5,000 or $20 a week, that's better than zero. The amount isn't the point. The habit is. False security. Maybe you live with your parents. Maybe your job feels secure. Maybe you're healthy. You think nothing bad will happen. That belief is a trap. Life doesn't give advance notice. Hope isn't a strategy. The emotional cost of having no emergency fund. When you don't have a safety net, you're constantly walking a tightrope over a pit of anxiety. Every little setback becomes a crisis. Your car breaks down, you panic. You lose your job, you freeze. You get sick, you start borrowing. Your rent is due and you're short, you look for quick loans. Now you're no longer in control. You're reacting. You're making desperate choices. You start saying yes to jobs you hate because you can't afford to say no. You stay in toxic environments because you have no backup. That's not freedom, that's financial imprisonment. And what hurts the most? You could have avoided all of it if you just started earlier. Real life example. The fall and rise of Aylana. Let me tell you about Aylana. At 24, Aylana had a great job as a digital marketer in Los Angeles. She was earning decent money, but she spent most of it eating out, trips with friends, expensive skincare, new clothes. She told herself she'd save next month, but next month never came. Then COVID hit. Her company downsized. She was laid off. Aylana had no emergency fund. Rent was due. Utilities were due. She had credit card debt, no savings, and a lease she couldn't break. Her stress levels skyrocketed. Within a month, she'd borrowed $1,000 from 3 different friends and maxed out to cards. When a freelance client finally offered her a project, she took it, even though the pay was trash and the client treated her terribly. Why? She had no choice. Eventually, she got back on her feet, but it took 14 months. And the emotional trauma of that time stayed with her. She told me, if I had just put away a few $100s each month, that storm wouldn't have swallowed me whole. That was the moment she realized, emergency savings is not optional, it's survival. How to start building your emergency fund now. Automate the first step. Open a separate savings account just for emergencies. Name it something powerful. My Safety Net or Financial Freedom. Then automate a transfer of even $5, $50 weekly. Automating makes it consistent and removes the temptation. Treat it like a bill. Every time you get paid, pay your emergency fund first, like rent. If you don't do it first, you'll never do it. Cut what you won't miss. Cancel subscriptions you forgot about. Eat out one less time per week. Skip one luxury and redirect it to your emergency fund. You'd be amazed what adds up in 90 days. Start with $1,000, then build up. Your first goal is $500,000 or $1,000. That covers most surprise expenses. After that, aim for 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. Keep that money in a high-yield savings account, not somewhere easy to spend. Don't touch it, unless it's real. This isn't I want a new phone money. It's I lost my job money. Be strict with yourself. That discipline builds the mindset of true wealth. Napoleon Hill's wisdom. Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit, but only if you're prepared. Life will bring adversity. That's guaranteed. The only question is, will you be ready? Emergency savings is the seed you plant today to grow the tree that shelters you tomorrow. You can't stop the rain, but you can build a roof. It gives you time to breathe. It gives you room to think. It gives you the power to say no when you need to. It's not just a bank account, it's peace of mind. It's control, it's strength. Final thoughts. Build on rock, not sand. Building your future without an emergency fund is like building your dreams on shifting sand. You might decorate the castle. You might paint it gold, but the first storm will knock it over. But if you build on rock, if you take the time now to create a foundation, that castle will stand for decades. Start today, even if it's $2,000, even if it's $5. Because when the storm comes, and it will, you won't be the one drowning. You'll be the one standing, calm, confident, and unshaken, because you built your life on something solid. Would you like me to continue with mistake number 4? 4. Underinvesting in retirement. Time is your greatest asset, don't waste it. There's a quiet tragedy unfolding among millions of young adults every generation. It's not roaring, It doesn't make waves in the headlines. It's not shouting like an angry debt collector or pounding at your door in frustration. But it's relentless, quietly, silently, and poignantly. The tragedy is underinvesting in retirement. Investing may sound mundane or far off, however, here's a truth that you need to be aware of before it's too late. The greatest time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second fairest time is now Chinese proverb, and nothing captures that reality more than retirement savings. Why most people ignore retirement in their 20s? Let's face it, retirement seems like something tailored for older generations. If you're in your 20s, you might feel like you have decades to go. You focus on reaching today, not thinking about 40 years from now. And that's the trap. You perceive you have plenty of time, so you postpone. You think, I'll start saving when I make more, or I'll invest for when I'm in my 30s. But here's what no one shares. Time is your most precious financial asset, and you can never retrieve it. Once it's gone forever. Understanding the power of compound interest. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He said, "He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." Let's delve into this with a real-life example. Meet Jasmine and Mark. Jasmine begins investing in her 20s, putting away just $200 a month into her retirement account, earning 10% annually. She does this for only a decade, and then stops altogether at her 32nd birthday. Mark waits until his 32nd year to start. He also invests the same amount and continues doing so, reaching age 65, which takes 33 years of contributions. Imagine who ends up with more money at retirement. It's Jasmine. Even though she only invested for a decade and pulled back, her money had more time to grow. Mark had to invest for a staggering 3 times more than Jasmine did, and even still, he couldn't match her success. Why? Because time compounded her finances. That's the extraordinary magic of compound interest. Money earning even more money on top of the initial investment. Your 20s, the most powerful decade for wealth building. As a young person, the amount of money you invest should matter more than the time you give it to grow. $1 invested in your 20s can be worth 5 to 10 times more than the same dollar invested in your 40s. Every single year you wait to start investing, you lose thousands and even millions of potential future wealth. Let me break down the idea. Investing just $200 a month starting at age 20 with an 8% annual return means by the time you reach 65, you'll have a staggering $730,000. Wait until your 32nd birthday. Your total wealth is only $340,000. Wait until your 42nd birthday. Your financial gain is only $150,000. That's the price of delay. You're not just losing time. You're also losing your freedom. Why underinvesting in retirement is a silent killer. Here's the harsh truth. No one is coming to save you when you need it the most. Not the government, not your employer, not your family, and definitely not the lottery. If you don't prepare for your retirement, you're preparing yourself to be poor when you're old and tired, and even suffering from chronic diseases. Imagine being 70 and having to choose between food and medication. Imagine working a job you hate in your 60s because you have to. That's the life most people are headed toward, not because they lack ambition, but because they didn't start investing early. You can avoid that, but only if you begin now. Explanations behind the underinvestment in retirement. Let's dismantle the top lies many young people tell themselves. 1. I'll save later when I earn more. Truth. When you start making more money, your lifestyle will expand as well. You'll find new ways to spend and luxury. Saving becomes much harder, not easier. Saving is about how much you make, not what you do. 2. I don't know how to invest properly. Truth. You do not need to be a Wall Street expert. You can start investing in index funds, target date retirement funds, or even employer-sponsored retirement plans. Learn the basics, start small and grow with the time. 3. I'm too young to worry about retirement. Truth. That's exactly why you should start early. Your youth is your greatest advantage. You have time, something 40-year-olds would kill for. Use it wisely, for retirement has no value. Truth. If you think so, you are wrong. You'll find out when you reach retirement. If you prepare for it, it's extremely valuable to you and your families. The psychological benefits of early retirement saving. Here's something people usually do not talk about: self-confidence. When you know you're investing for your future, something changes inside you. You start walking taller. You stop making impulsive decisions. You stop chasing every short money trend. You sleep better at night. Why? Because you're playing the long game. You're no longer reacting to life, but you're designing it. This new mindset can be worth its weight in gold. How to start building your retirement fund even if you're broke. Even if you're struggling with finances or just starting out, there's no need to worry. Here's a step-by-step guide to help you kickstart your retirement fund journey. 1. Open a retirement account. If you happen to be in the US, consider opening a Roth IRA or making regular contributions to your 401k plan, especially if your employer is willing to match your contributions. If you're in Nigeria, you could also contribute to pension funds or explore various mutual funds and fixed income investments with a long-term growth mindset. Utilize apps such as RiseVest, PiggyVest, Chipper, *Trade, or even Vanguard, depending on your location. 2. Automate it. Make sure to set up automatic transfers every month, even if it's as low as $5,000 or even just $20 a month. The key is to establish a habit and not just rely on the amount you contribute. 3. Increase as you grow. As you increase your income, don't hesitate to increase your retirement contributions. Show your future self the appreciation and reward for today's hard work. 4. Avoid early withdrawals. It's essential to remember that once your money is in your retirement account, it should stay there unless it's an emergency situation. The money is meant to be sacred and should be allowed to grow without intervention. According to Napoleon Hill wisdom, think and grow rich by thinking, but secure wealth by habit. Building retirement wealth doesn't come from overnight success. It requires small, smart actions taken consistently over time. The best way to think like a wealthy person is to start building your retirement fund as early as possible. While there's no guarantee it'll lead you to financial success, you'll significantly decrease your chances of falling into the same financial pitfalls. Closing thought: retirement is the longest vacation of your life. Start paying for it now. Picture this: retirement is a vacay that could last for 25 to 30 years. Would you go on a one-week vacation without having a plan, saving, and packing? Of course not. So why would you underestimate your entire future life? Start today, plant those seeds, because your 60-year-old self will be watching and hoping you make the right decision right now. And when that moment comes, you'll either say, "Thank God I started early," or "Why didn't I listen when I had the chance?"